What's up everybody, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel, bringing you guys another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. For this video, I'm gonna go ahead and cover the upcoming Lost Chapters featuring the return of SHERLOTTA. Joining SHERLOTTA as synergy for this particular Lost Chapters is gonna be Rydia, and also gonna be Seymour. Now SHERLOTTA herself is not gonna be getting a rework with this particular Lost Chapters, but she is gonna be getting an EX realization because her EX weapon is going to be repeating on the banner featured for this. Rydia herself will get a rework, and her returning EX weapon, which is also featured on this banner, is going to be getting an EX realization, and I'm going to be covering those topics in this video. Now we're also going to be touching up on the Chaos difficulty boss fight. It's going to be the return of those two spine-clad dragons, and they're going to have a little bit of more absorption and different resistances and things like that. So we're going to be covering that, and I'm also going to be covering my thoughts on SHERLOTTA's EX realization, and as well as Rydia's EX realization and rework. And also at the end of the video, you guys know that I've already been adding this because you guys told me it's very helpful, but we're going to be doing a kind of like a let's play or how to play the characters that I've been talking about in the particular videos. So before I move on with the video, again, big thanks and shout out to Rem from the Dissidia DB, because all the information that I use on this video comes directly from his website. Also huge shout outs to the Tonberry Troop for all of the beautiful infographics that they create for these characters, and as well as to Macnall for the Dissidia info website, a really awesome resource as well, and also to the OO Tracker, another great website that you can also use to kind of track your progress with Dimensions End and characters that you've used for Dimensions End. And last but not least, the Final Fantasy TCC podcast for the amazing weekly podcast that they give us global players to help us, get ahead of the game and step up our game a little bit. All right, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and move right into SHERLOTTA's Lost Chapters. SHERLOTTA's return to Global Opera Omnia will not be granting her a rework, but she will get an EX realization with the return of her EX weapon. Her EX realization grants her the following upgrades. 0 out of 3 improves her EX ability with a 120% Brave Heal overflow, and adds 2 new effects to her unique buff, Light of Creation, which are a party HP and Brave regen. 1 out of 3 grants her a permanent increase to her attack and max brave. 2 out of 3 allows her to start the quest with Light of the Crystal for 6 turns and Light of Creation for 4 turns. Finally, 3 out of 3 further improves her EX ability by increasing the Brave Heal granted to the party and adding 2 more new effects to her unique buff, Light of Creation, which are an attack increase to the entire party and Brave Overflow to the entire party. She will now also gain access to her Throw Staff Plus, which raises her Brave based on max Brave, and then delivers a 3-hit, non-elemental magic, single-target Brave plus single-target HP attack with a 150% Brave Overflow, inflicts Light of Denial for 3 turns, and reverts back to either Throw Staff or HP attack after usage. The C-type sphere unlocked from this EX weapon is called Buff Success Brave Regen Short, which raises a party member's Brave by 10% of their initial Brave at the start of their turn after granting a buff for 3 turns. Recommended artifact passives for SHERLOTTA are 3 copies of Attack plus 108 and either 3 copies of Eternal Maiden Boost 2-star or Max Brave plus 330. You could also consider throwing in Initial Brave plus 170 since she does provide Brave regens as well. Rydia receives a rework, an EX realization, and an EX ability animation update with SHERLOTTA's Lost Chapters. Her Skill 1, Flare 4, gains 3 additional uses, putting its maximum uses to 9. Flare 4 also now deals 5 Brave hits, has higher Brave potency, now has 120% Brave Overflow, now deals 50% HP splash damage, and extends the duration of her magic attack up buff by 3 turns. Her Skill 2, Summon Leviathan, recovers her Brave based on max Brave, now delivers 5 Brave hits, has higher Brave potency, now has 150% Brave Overflow, inflicts Water Imperil on all enemies for 4 turns, improves the effect of her max Brave up buff, extends the duration of buffs granted by 3 turns, and now deals AoE HP damage with the damage being split amongst multiple targets. Her Brave attack and its plus variant also get upgraded with 2 Brave hits and increased Brave potency. Aside from her rework, Rydia also receives her EX realization with the return of her EX weapon. 0 out of 3 improves her EX ability, increasing its recast speed to slightly fast, increased Brave potency, and can now Brave overflow by 120%. 1 out of 3 grants her a permanent increase to her max Brave and attack. 2 out of 3 allows her to start the quest with her unique buff Subjugating Strength for 6 turns and also fills her EX gauge to max. Subjugating Strength also gains 2 new effects, which are an extended duration of any self buffs and debuffs by 2 turns, and now grants the party Water Enchant. Finally, 3 out of 3 further improves her EX ability, increasing its Brave hits to 8, further increasing the Brave potency, and further raises the Brave overflow. Also, while Subjugating Strength is active, Rydia gains access to Brave Attack+++, which is a 3-hit Water Magic single target Brave attack, and access to her HP Attack++, which is a 3-hit Water Magic single target Brave plus single target HP attack with a 120% Brave overflow. The A-type sphere unlocked from this EX weapon is called Weak Power Attack Up Short, which increases Brave damage dealt by 5% and increases attack by 5% for 3 turns when the equipped character is hitting an enemy's weakness. Recommended artifact passes for Rydia post her rework and realization are 3 copies of Attack plus 108 and 3 copies of Max Brave plus 330. Survivor of Mist Boost 2-star is also a solid option, but just remember its effects only kick in at the start of the last wave if HP is at max. Alright everybody, so now that we know what Sherlotta can do with her EX realization and also what Rydia can do with her EX realization and her rework, what are my thoughts about these 2 characters after this? Well, let's take a look at Sherlotta first. When she was first introduced, there was a lot of hype behind her because she was a very efficient support character. She had various ways to Brave Battery the party, and to top it off, a majority of those ways did not take up a turn. And when it comes to characters that have abilities where they don't necessarily deal damage with them, that's actually very valuable because what it does is it keeps your turn count low and it makes it a bit more efficient, to be able to get those scores for the particular harder stages. And to top it off, Sherlotta was already a character that had really strong buffs, and the cool thing about her buffs is that the effects applied to your party as an aura. So her allies are benefiting from it as long as it's active on her, which makes her a very suitable party member, to be able to throw into different party comps because, she could play well with other buffers because she's not taking up too many slots. Now, her buffs herself were already pretty amazing. She gave, your characters, what was it, like an HP regen. She also gave your characters, increased HP damage with her EX, which she was one of the very first characters to do that when we first got her. And then to top it off, she had that skill 2, which was absolutely amazing. It was pretty much an HP attack nuke once you set it up correctly, and it was very, very powerful. And then to top it off, she has a gravity effect as well with her EX ability. So with her EX realization, while it may not seem like she got a lot on paper, if you take a look at it, it's actually quite a bit. So now she gets added effects to her unique buff. So she now gets a Brave regen that she provides to the party. She also gets an added HP regen. So now the HP regen you're getting from her is going to be a lot better. And then she also improves the party's attack, and she also increases the HP damage dealt, and she also increases the Brave overflow. So she's further increasing, what she provides to the party as utility. So even though it doesn't look that amazing on paper, Sherlotta has now become even more viable. So if you're looking to push those numbers for damage and also keep your party sustained with their Brave and their HP and being able to, to hit past the damage cap, she is going to be a character that can help you out with that. So very, very, great upgrade just with the EX realization alone because she was already good when she first came out. Now, Rydia. So Rydia, when she first came out, was, a water imperil, water enchant type of a character, kind of like Lulu, but then Lulu surpassed her because she got her EX realization first. But now with this rework, Rydia actually hits pretty hard. She actually hits a lot harder than Lulu, who is a character that I like to compare her to because they're kind of similar in sort of ways, whereas Lulu, gives fire enchant and then she has fire imperil, but then Rydia does it with the water element. But the thing that makes Rydia shine over Lulu is she has different ways to give your party water enchant. So first of all, originally when we first got her, if you had pulled for her 35 CP weapon, her skill 2 actually gives water enchant to your allies, which is pretty cool. And then if you had her EX at base, she applies water imperil. But now if you take a look at it, her subjugating strength, gaining 2 new effects, now applying that as an aura on top of what she's already doing, makes her even more solid as a elemental imperil, elemental enchant. And to top it off, like I said earlier, you know, she hits really hard, and she now has better potencies on both of her offensive skills. She now also hits all enemies, so she hits all enemies with her skill 2, and then now her skill 1 has splash damage. So she's very versatile and very good. And then last but not least, that HP attack plus, if you 3/3 her, assuming that you purple her, is actually a really solid HP attack plus command. So very good options there for Rydia if you're looking for a character that provides you a specific element and also imperil and at the same time hits hard. Rydia is definitely a really cool character for that. So my thoughts on this banner, again, if you pull for this banner, this is the value that you're going to get out of these characters. Very turn efficient support unit with various, you know, ways to brave battery you, gravity effect, great auras, and then the other character giving you, another imperil enchanter and also, really good damage potencies, as well as, being efficient with her enchant because she can also do it now as an aura. That's the value that you're going to be getting out of this banner. So if you take a look at your roster, you take a look at your resources such as your gems, tickets, your ingots, take a look at all of that and be like, do I find value in either Sherlotta or Rydia after this Lost Chapters? If so, then maybe this is the banner for you. So that is going to be my thoughts on these characters as far as their upgrades and the banner. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about the Chaos difficulty boss fight against the 2 spine-clad dragon bosses. The Chaos difficulty boss fight for Sherlotta's Lost Chapters features the return of the pair of Spine-clads. In the Chaos version of the fight, both bosses have elemental absorption on elements except for thunder and water. They are both weak to the water element and are also 4 times resistant against melee and ranged brave attacks. They can inflict debuffs such as attack down, speed down, and poison with their ability Scatter, and have a powerful AoE magic brave plus AoE HP attack called Spear Ray. Lastly, they can also remove a party member's buffs, including Framed, with their Tail Crush. The fight should be very straightforward as long as you're aware of these details. Aside from synergy units, one unit who can do extremely well in this fight is Garnet due to her natural usage of both thunder and water elements, which Spine-clads have no absorption or resistances to. Alright guys, so we are here with the how to play or let's play these characters. So then for those of you that are unfamiliar with them or kind of need a refresher, this section is for you. So we're going to start off with Rydia here because she is going first. So remember, I talk about these characters when assuming that you have them fully purpled out and things like that because you want to see them at their maximum potential. So Rydia off the bat starts off with her subjugating strength, and remember, it applies water enchant to her allies and to herself, and for her allies, that's an aura. So they already have the water enchant available to them at the start of the battle if you decide to realize her weapon fully. So with Rydia, you have Flare, so it has 9 uses now, which gives her better longevity. This is a pretty good attack against a single target, as well as being able to get her magic attack up buff up, and as well as dealing splash damage to multiple targets. This one right over here is going to be her skill 2, so this also applies a water enchant to the party, and it also improves the water damage that you do because you are applying another one. And then afterwards, I mentioned about her HP attack plus. So this one is a pretty good option if her brave has already been filled up at her turn. So then that way, if you want to save some skill uses, you could use this as an option. And then lastly, she also has this ability right over here, her C65, which improves the amount of weak damage that you're doing to a target. So it's pretty good. Overall, like I said, she's a very solid, powerful, enchant type of an imperil character. So if you're looking for that, that's what she does. But there's only one enemy, so what we're going to go ahead and do is just summon the Mist Dragon because it does get that really cool animation where we actually get to see the dragon. And remember, what that does, it also implies the water imperil, which is really cool. All right, so now Sherlotta. So between the two, Sherlotta is probably the more complicated one to play, but she's not too complicated, to be honest with you. So her skill 1 is going to be used to battery. It's also going to be applying that Light of the Crystal, which your part, it As long as you have it active on her, your party benefits from it. And it also does not take up a turn count, and it immediately brings her back to take another turn. This is going to be her throw staff. This is what you're going to be using as far as like brave shaving. This is why I recommended attack plus 108, is because you want Charlotta, when you're actually using this a lot, which you will find yourself using this command a lot when you have it active, you want it to at least hit as hard as possible, so then that way she's not just hitting like a wet noodle with this. I mean, it does have a nice effect with the debuff of lowering initial brave and also applying that sap, but you still want it to hit as hard as possible. And then this command right over here is going to be another way that she could brave battery. This does take up a turn, but it's great for situations where you're like, oh shoot, I'm about to be hit with a, you know, an AoE attack, and who knows what could happen. So it's a great way to apply some brave. And then let's not forget her C65. I know I don't have it fully upgraded, but it's another way to battery up your party. So with Charlotta, let's go ahead and actually get her EX up. So we're just gonna keep spamming skill 1. And as you can see, it's not taking up a turn count. And it has that no action delay as well. Okay, probably one more. We'll get another one here. So we can at least see her EX in action. All right, so this is her EX. So remember, it has a gravity effect, and now it has 4 added effects. So it has the Brave and HP regen to the party. It also has increased attack and also increased Brave overflow to the party. So your party members are going to be hitting, you know, past their Brave cap, being able to do as much HP damage as possible. So now let's go ahead and use her skill 2, because we just love seeing the skill 2. All right, look at that amount of damage that she just delivered. And then let's see Rydia use a Summon Leviathan. Very cool, very cool. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and use her Brave attack. All right, and let's go ahead and check out Rydia's skill 1. So it does have splash damage. We can't see it here, but it does have it. And as you can see, look at that. Originally, it was at like, what, 50,000, but it pushed it past to 73,000 because we have those added auras from Charlotta. Now with Charlotta, let's go ahead and use a Hurl Staff or Throw Staff. And then with Rydia, we're actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and see her whip attack here, her HP attack plus plus. So as you can see, that actually hit pretty hard. And because she's applying Water Imperil and also the Water Enchant, and that is a Water Elemental, you know, command, it's going to be dealing a pretty decent amount of damage for, you know, something that doesn't take up a skill count. All right, so with Rydia, we're just going to go ahead and end it right here. All right, summon the Mist Dragon. Very cool. So overall, very solid characters. Charlotta being able to increase the damage output and also keep your character sustained. And then Rydia, amazing damage. You got that enchant, you got that imperil. So again, great value for both of these characters. So hopefully this portion helps you guys understand how to play these characters. Again, one is pretty straightforward. The other one is somewhat complicated, but not too complicated, you know, to understand her kit. All right, guys, thank you guys for watching this video. Looking forward to making the next one. Stay tuned for the next video, and mahal, guys.